I experienced an entity form. It's what I consider to be an entity from before. Now, this is what I want to talk a little bit about. And it basically is, if you've ever had sleep paralysis, where you sort of hover, you're sort of awake, but your body's sleeping. If you've been there, it's in that state that I'm talking about. And that is the astral realm. You can actually feel what's going on there. So if you got to that state, it's actually close to these kind of out-of-body experiences, because it is being awake, but your body's asleep. But then there is a switch that you realize that you're not your body, right? So, and that takes some time. It takes some practice to actually really believe that. It's not something that just comes naturally for people. You have to actually practice seeing it that way. And so that's the practice that I'm in. Seeing it fully, believing that I am the energy that is directing the body and doing it. I think this way of being is really exciting, because it's much more exciting than what my life was before. My life before was just like everyone else's, and I was just going along with it. Like what I'm so grateful to have had these tough experiences, especially the last one, so that I could fully see how stupid I've been. How stupid I've been to let some other energies and other things dictate how I'm supposed to be or feel about myself. I'm so grateful for those experiences. It's really, I would never be here if it wouldn't be for that experience. I'm deeply grateful. Very grateful. And do I want to stay there? No, it's a springboard, right? It's a springboard. It's not like we're less of a spiritual being if we don't stay in it and suffer through it. No, it's a choice. Like we came here to choose. You don't have to stay in that yuck. You choose, but it doesn't mean you try to control another person. We have to let go and just let people be people, let them do what they want to do, and just we do what we want to do. And I'm hoping by me making these videos that I'm connecting with people that wants to play life this way. Because I have to tell you, the other way doesn't work. The dualistic way, it doesn't work. Fighting, it doesn't work. Blaming yourself, it doesn't work. All of those things, I've done them all plenty of times. And I'm done with that game. Like that entire game is done. And it's time to play a different game. I'm inviting you to play the holistic game, where we look at things exactly for how they are. And we look at things energetically. We include energy. We include looking at the reality of things. That's the only way that we're ever going to have some form of peace in our lives. Because we have to let all of that old go. Those old stories, they need to go. They just need to go. All those old beliefs and stories and what we thought about ourselves and other people, it can all be changed. It just takes some practice. Lately, I've experienced these like almost entity, like when you're in this middle stage, this astral level, right? And sometimes I can feel beings there in my space. And sometimes they're trying to steal energy. It's what it feels like. By creating scenarios and trying to provoke feelings. And I know they're false. They're just energy that have not gone back to the light. So they need to use someone that is connected to the light. Our bodies, they are light generators. I know because I am connected. I can tell what these are. But sometimes, and this was the case the other day, you get the same feeling. It feels like it is an entity. It's actually a part of you coming back that was really, really, really hurt. Sometimes that feels like that, energetically. This is how these things come back to us. And why did it happen? Why did I feel that? Because before, that day before, I had a prayer to call back my energy. And so I'm going backwards so that you can see the result of what can happen when you dedicate yourself and you focus and you know what you want. But you have to know that these things are not real before you can pray for some assistance, because you can call upon God. You can call upon the energy and have that energy help you. So many people are using these manifestation techniques, but you can also ask for what you want. And then, of course, you have to get into the feeling of having it, which is why these manifestations technique have created almost like an industry of its own, right? Because that needs to land for people. People need to get that you have to embody it. So we have to embody this way of being for us to actually see results. This holistic way, we have to actually embody it. And that is energy. We have to claim back our energy. I know that many people are talking about this, but actually knowing what does it really helps. And actually knowing how energy works will really convince you that, okay, I get it. I get why I need to focus on this. I get why I need to take care of the women in my life. I get why I need to take care of the men in my life, my brothers, my sisters. But we have an energetic responsibility to ourselves also. Don't forget that. And that is what needs to change now. Because before, at least in my life, I was just doing whatever, following people, letting people boss me around energetically. And just because I wanted a relationship, I was caught in the story that I found really hard to break free of. The story of like the twin flame or the sacred couple, or those two halves of the same coming together and becoming whole. I was really, really caught in that. But I didn't know what it meant. I was caught in the romantic fashion of it, that you actually live happily ever after type of thing. But to become whole, you have to get in touch with what you're not. And so you have to harmonize those things inside of you. This is so huge. If you really get this, you get that you are the only one that's stopping you back. Also energetically, what people call good luck. It's not luck, it's aligned energy with directed thoughts that produce a feedback system. It's not luck. If you know the rules of how to stay in a high frequency down here, it's not luck. It is deliberate. It can be luck when you stumble upon it. But then when you figure it out, you can do it deliberately. And that's when magic starts to happen in your life. And you start to take off. And that's how you manifest. So, call back your energy is not just a, hey, call back my energy. It's also a seeing the patterns, seeing where did I fall for this? Calling back my energy. Yeah, what do I want to do forward? What do I want to continue behaving like this? Or do I need to inject some different energy here to be a bit more a bit more in the game, in life, like living for me. Because that's what's needed. We need to actually live here. Otherwise, we are letting other energies dictate what we should do, even if it's our friends. Could be like a stupid video game. Like they're just in that frequency of video game, and that video, that just sucks you into a whole nother world. And you've created a whole nother world inside of your own world, other than this world. In the ethereal, in the energy world. Just know what you're doing. Know the mechanisms of all this reality. Because it's important to know the consequences of what you are doing with your focus repeatedly. Because that's what's creating physical matter. What you do repeatedly. That's what manifestation is. It's just our focus. Focused on whatever we want to focus on. And we can choose what to focus on. Do you focus back? Reminiscing? Wishing that it would be this or that or the other in this transition period? Well, that's not it. Then you're still dragging a little chain. So you have to let go of that. You have to go, you have to go through everything just to make sure that you're at peace with it, because otherwise it will creep back later. So you have to make peace of what you've done, what you haven't done. If there's something that you need to correct, you need to do that so that you clean your energy. And then you're ready to step into your new life. A life of your own design. But there is a process to this. That's why not everyone is jumping timelines and stepping into their new life completely. Because they still have some energetic ties to the past. And that's what needs to change. That's what needs to alter. I hope this helped. So basically all of this to say that, and then the after my energy came back to my body, I had this massive pain in the middle of my back. Like I couldn't move properly. I still feel it. This was yesterday. And I still feel it. It's like, oof. Something is moving very deep in my body. Really good. And then what I do then, I also checked what this was related to. Because I like to do that. Because sometimes I don't know exactly what's being released. But when these things get released, when the Kundalini rises, because that's what it also is, then you will get pain in certain specific areas, and those have meaning. And so depending on where it is, it has a particular meaning. And so in the back here, well, it was something to do with the heart, obviously, past stuff. So I haven't figured out exactly what it is, but I don't need to. All I need to know is that I'm going to feel this, and I'm going to welcome it. I'm not going to resist it, and I'm not going to need to be different. I'm just here with it. Learn how to sit with your feelings. Because once you have done that, that is the processing through of that energy. And the energy is producing thoughts or energy blocks or whatever. So when you feel through the energy, you have actually done the healing. You can do this all by yourself. You don't need a therapist. Because you don't need to think about it too much. Sometimes there is some processing so that you get at peace with things. That's what the talking to people is all about. You have to actually make peace before you step into this new life. So I welcome you so much to join me on this ride, to learn how to stay in the holistic frequency all the time. Because when we do that, and this is another little gem, I'm giving you lots of gems today. Gems. I'm giving you lots of gems today. And I hope that you hear that I'm doing this in service to you. Because I want to create something different here on the planet. And I know how we can do that. And for that, I'm inviting you to join me in a different way of being a human. I know it sounds a bit odd, but it is a different way of being a human. There are different rules. And why do we do this? It's because when we manifest, we create a baseline. The baseline is how we operate regularly. And so my goal is to create a baseline that is of a high frequency all the time. Have you ever been to a retreat center and you get all this nutritious food and all these beautiful things and the mantras and all of that, and then you feel amazing afterwards? That's how you're supposed to feel all the time. Not all the time. Sometimes there are these healing dips, but there's a difference between them, because those healing dips feel good and you know that they're for good, and you know that it's not just thoughts creating feelings that's yucky, that's introducing other energies, because that doesn't feel good. So it's important to distinguish and learn what these signals mean, so that you can really stay grounded, knowing what's what, and having clear boundaries. Having clear boundaries of what? I don't need to be afraid of anything. Well, to actually create a stable foundation, it's something new, you have to have boundaries to kick out the old. The old habits, not the old people. But if the old people don't go, then the habits need to go. The people don't, but the people can change. And that means that we need to be a bit more open to one another, saying the truth to one another, saying what we really feel to one another, and not make it about the other person. And this is how we can create relating with one another that is in harmony with where this planet is going. Because we're going up in frequency, and we need to create the social structure for maintaining this high frequency. It doesn't matter what they say in the news. It doesn't matter, all of those, that stuff, that's just creating more of that. So if you focus there, it's just going to create more of that. So we need to remove our focus from what we don't want and place it where we do want. Very simple. And so when we know all the rules, we know how energy works, and we know all of the rules. I mean, they're not rules, they're just some different ways of maintaining a high frequency. And it's a different way of thinking about things. And so in that sense, there is some training that needs to go into actually practicing a different way of thinking and being and feeling and experiencing this reality. I didn't even think that this was possible. I have to admit, like, this is something I've kind of stumbled upon. And I know that I'm stumbling upon the things that excites me the most, because that's where I'm heading. I'm heading to the things that feel the best for this body. I'm using now the body as the vehicle to measure if I'm doing all right. If I'm feeling good, I'm doing good. Okay, I hope this video helped you. And if you would like, I have some other videos you can check out. And I'll see you in the next one.